to Arvada, what was closer to my workplace, and closer to the Regis High School and the Holy Family High School. My daughter went to the Holy Family, and our sons went to the Regis High.
Yeah, and Johnny in elementary, Holy Family
And also in
elementary.
the Holy Family Grade School.
Yeah,
Yes.
and later, Laszlo going college, my younger son
Yeah,
going.
I'm afraid to
college.
get involved in the alley. If somebody could give you any real political background, I could, but
Okay.
I'm afraid to give you.
Oh, that's fine.
I'm afraid to give you
Wait.
because you never know. You
No,
never
that's
know.
fine. Why?
Yeah.
How did they find you again? How
Well,
did you come
anyhow,
to be
I
in
can
Thornton?
tell you some little background about how the Hungarian people, otherwise they call refugees or freedom fighters, how they get in certain
You
state.
pull this much better line.
This one.
Okay, that's fine.
So how different families? Well, actually, by rough estimate, eventually United States accept 200,000 Hungarian refugee family.
This was after World War II, or
After the Hungarian Revolution.
Revolution.
They call
Fight for Russia.
different ways. They call Hungarian Revolution, Hungarian Uprising, or Hungarian Freedom Fight. You can name it whatever suit you. We have our own park, the Hungarian Freedom Park here in Denver, and they have a statue over there from the Hungarian Uprising also in Denver. Now, we arrived, the average Hungarian freedom fighter or refugees, whatever they call, mostly in December and January of 1956 and early 1957. We was gathered in a big camp called Camp Gilmer in New Jersey. That was an old army camp for World War One, long time ago.
Not World War
World War One was using the Camp Gilmer, and I was completely
War Two.
no World War One, and I evacuated and was nothing used anymore. And then the United States generosity, they refixed the whole camp area so they would be able to accommodate several 10,000s of Hungarian refugees, and 80% of the Hungarian refugees went through the Camp Gilmer inside my cell. So we was over there only 3 days, and then United States, that time in 1956, they had only 48 states, not 50, 48, and every state sent a representative to the Camp Gilmer. Now, like I told you, I spoke fluently German and French, and this state representative, all was diplomatically very high educated. Every one of them speak, beside English, they speak some Spanish, French, or German. So my hunt after speaking state, as I repeat the state, was very easy because I could get along with all the representatives, and I talked with several of them. And then the third day I bumped into the state of Colorado representative who told me that, Mr. Zani, if you come to our state of Colorado, you won't be disappointed. We call Colorado little Swiss of America, little Schweiz of America, where the mountain met with the plainland, growing economy, not overpopulated, plenty job opportunity, and very nice people. And since we have 2 children and the third one on his way, we said, well, that should be a very nice place to us to settle. Now everybody had to have a sponsor. why the Kovanis Club and
Not
the American Legion,
Catholic.
a Catholic organization, okay. But the Kovanis Club sponsored us.
Yeah, yeah. Why, I don't know.
Why the Kovanis Club picked us, I don't know. And the American Legion also had some involvement because of my political background, anti-communist background, and also the Lions Club.
Yeah,
Now this lady organization I never heard of, but probably they was so kind and furnishing the house and everything because that was all furnished.
yes, furnace.
So after I talked with the state of Colorado representative, we decided with my family, with her consent, that we will came to state of Colorado where we don't know. Now how they picked us, the Kovanis Club, I don't know because two family arrived to this area in same time. Zanis and the Zagis. Only one letter different between the two families. So in the beginning they almost mix us up. Who go to Thornton and who go to Denver. The Zagi family went to Denver. And the Zanis, or they pronounce Zanis, but that means in English crazy, so better just leave Zani. We came city of Thornton and we enjoy the sponsorship of the Kovanis Club. They did many really good things for us, and the Kovanis Club want to put me after my social background, high middle class background, to some office. So they took me in different places, and all what I had to do just read article in English. Boy, you should put this on the recorder, how I was read this one. Any article, never read in English in my life. So I read the article like as written. The Latin languages like the Hungarian, the Romanian, the Spanish language, that they read the way like it is printed. They don't have any silent letter. So our reading is completely different than the English reading. So after the guy who was helping us through the Kovanis Club, Mr. Carl Wilcox, pat on my shoulder and he said, "Hey Laszlo, better for a short while you forget your vice presidency, leave behind, and start that from the very bottom, and from there you start build your up, and be sure that start learn the language, that's the most important." So they bring us high school books, what was alpha and omega to me, it's something unknown. Then I was so happy, I told Carl, bring me some pre-grade school book, more picture and less text. And then I started learning English.
And you go in language.
Well, in the very beginning I see the picture and the, I like Kathy, what I do for you. Little things what the 3, 4, 5-year-old kids talk about, That's help us. Then they put me in the Denver opportunity school, and very quickly I picked it up just like this. Like I said, then the Robinson brick and tile, I was working on the assembly line, put the brick in the stack, stack, and the little chart. And after the personnel manager of the Robinson brick and tile came along and he said, "How come you work here?" He had a job opening. And they had to betting on the job. I never put my name under the betting. So the personnel manager came to me and said, "Hey Laszlo, why don't you bet on that job? We'll put you in the lab, in the laboratory of Robinson Brick and Tile for the research lab. And well, I said, "That's okay with me." And then after 1 year of working in the assembly line, They put me in the research lab, where I was working very, very happily and satisfied. And then one friend of me, he said, after you speak very well, acceptable English,
Go in.
why don't you go to the engineering office, to the Denver Steel and Ironware Company, who was working for the Martin Marietta. Now what I design over there for United States, that's a military secret, I can tell you then. But I was doing it. I was big wheel over there.
My dad worked for Martin Marietta
Yeah.
for many, many years. It was an
Yes.
he never talked about his job at all.
That's why I don't talk about it either. And we was very happily,
Yeah, I have.
and we will start work hard, start gaining, buy this house paid for, Thornton house paid for, 20 acres of land
Land
paid
paid
for, 2
Everything
cars
paid.
paid for, and we are living happily. Like they said, ever after.
Going, taking school in morning, pick up in afternoon. Oh, that's very headache. That's only, I told I move in here in Arvada. That's Arvada really small city. Oh, that's only not have a I-70. Here in not have a bypass. That's it just, I
This
moved
house
here.
where we living now, that was the very northern
Yes.
tip of Arvada. Nothing was north from here, nothing.
Nothing.
Now they stretch to 120, and this is a 68.
Yes.
But I think that museal they interested more about city of Thornton than Arvada. But I like to suggest that I don't know official statistic, but as far as I remember, that was almost 40 years ago, isn't it? That time the population of city of Thornton was under 3,000 people.
Wow.
How I remember, I could.
Right now that they think in Thornton.
That's include all the incorporated area also. The
Right
64?
now.
Yeah, well, I read the article that was a little bit exaggerated. It's about between 60 to 70,000.
So there were 3,000 when you came.
I
3,000
think
people.
it was wrong.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Now the way like I came to Thornton by the sponsorship of the Kobanis Club, I remember that the highway between Denver and Thornton, that was a one-lane highway.
On lane highway.
One lane
Same
highway, and almost all the street of city of Thornton was not paved, but was gravelled.
Here
Makes
too,
sense.
that's
And
gravel.
eventually they paved all the road and everything.
Yes.
Eventually, and the city hall, the second city hall, not the temporary, the real city hall of Thornton, and the fire department was the western tip of the Carroll Court. Carrol, Carroll Court.
Right.
And the west, the end of the Carroll Court was the city hall and the fire department.
That's not have a
In
throne
one
from the
building.
library that's time.
It's fine. There, in terms of, you said it's the library?
Yeah.
Thornton Library?
That's not have a library.
No.
No, that's time.
That time they didn't have any because there was a Highlander building, the east side of the Carroll Court, and then the library partially take over the Highlander building.
Yes.
Plus they have some in the North Washington Street also. Library.
That's now.
And the North Valley Bank, they was came much later.
Yes. That's not have a bank in Thornton at that time in
Now,
1956.
in the Thornton history, it's very important, probably that will be one of the big event of city of Thornton, bad event, a tornado ran through the city of Thornton in 1980 or 81.
81.
81. And I don't know the statistic, but I think about 15 or 20 house was completely destroyed, and very close to 300 house was damaged, include Mr. Zani's house was damaged. I suffer about $4,000 worth of damage, what the insurance reimbursed me for. And I was not living that time, I was already renting at that house, still I renting it, but I was lucky, my tenant was out of house that time when the tornado swept through. The tornado was jumped over my house to part of my roof, but destroyed the corner house in the end of Karun Court.
This is terribly, you know, not
Actually,
cross
just
it
twist
with
out
go-
one tree from the front yard, twist up and throw soil,
Yeah.
not even know where they throw.
Yeah, that's
Big
really funny. That's not going cross 61 only get that flood.
But not in Thornton.
Yeah, in 24 Carol could all basement.
Well, include mine.
So your house was damaged in the flood, you had a little bit of damage in the basement.
Yeah.
Basement,
Yeah.
yes.
Also during the tornado we had damage.
Yes,
Yeah, so,
that's only,
But during the flood time, we
Just
was not there
basement.
either. But we was there.
I not get it.
No, we was not there. And what about 61 was the flood?
In 65 I get it there, no?
When was the flood? When?
I want to say it was either 62, possibly 65. It could have been. I was 6 years old at the time, and I remember.
I think so.
We was out of the house. Remember, Laszlo friend was living in our house in 24 Carol Court. And then they was complaining that the water come out from the basement. We was not that time there.
So
Maybe was flood more than one time. I mean, just small flood, elevating the water level in the basement. Remember?
I remember
when they
that
pump out the water.
67 I work in Petroleum Club. You
Yes.
and coming in 23 Street
Yes.
over in Viaduct and just go out and close the viaduct
So
and
that-
not get that too much flood in my basement. That's only get that in flood in basement. Only you know Laszlo friend in get it there
That was probably
68.
after we start renting at 68, 69.
I
So-
not have a
so you
remember.
moved from
From
Thornton.
Thornton, 1967.
67.
7.
Okay.
The only reason why we moved, not wanted to hurt any feeling of the city, because of the Catholic education need a
Yeah.
Catholic education for my kids.
Yes, that's only I moved here.
Mm-hmm.
I get it here almost 28 years. Yes,
So the Catholic Church, what the Catholic Church had to provide for you and your family in terms of education was really the main reason
Not
that you
Catholic,
stayed there.
yeah.
Yes.
The
Yes.
schools.
yes.
So there was a parochial school that your
Yes.
children went
Yes.
to.
All three of them.
All three of us in Paro.
Very expensive too.
Was it?
Very.
Yeah, and young children
Even
go
to
in
even the
Notre Dame.
college.
College
Notre Dame.
go
Heard about
Notre
Notre
Dame.
Dame?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah?
yeah, that's it. Maria never do it in my grandchildren.
Princeton,
That's it.
Yale, Brown, and Notre Dame.
Wow.
Four most expensive colleges.
And still now is really expensive in Notre Dame.
But I tell you something,
Mhm.
that's worth it.
Yes,
When we went over there, two kids of mine graduated from Boulder.
Uh-huh.
Boulder.
CU.
See you.
One in Notre Dame.
Mhm.
And when we take our youngest son, is a chemical engineer, to Notre
Notre
Dame,
Dame.
the sophomore from there in Notre Dame, they came towards us, they took all the luggage from our hand, they patting my son's shoulder and said, hey, don't be worried, you will feel home, you will find friends very quickly. And then Mr. and Mrs. Zani, they embarrass us like a big family. And then I feel at home right away. No, I not wanted to discriminate or work against Boulder, but that's a different story. Boulder or Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's
Very
different.
big difference.
That's
So,
a really high education and not have a party, not have
So
a
when
drug,
my son
everything.
graduated from Notre Dame, he was in the top 5% of
Yes.
his graduation class. 5 job offer was waiting for him on his desk. 5. So he took the mobile corporation, like a chemical and petroleum engineer job in Mobile, in Texas. What was his
Beaumont.
first name? Beaumont, Texas.
Beaumont, Texas, I've heard of
Yeah.
it. And,
Beaumont.
and the son who lives in California was
Yeah,
the one
that's-
that was born in Thornton. And
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
and his name is
John.
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 Okay. What made you choose the name John?
I tell you, because her father's first. Now,
That's now
in the
not John.
Hungarian custom, not American, and that's almost a must, that the firstborn son follow the father's first name, the firstborn girl follow the mother's first name, and when we run out with this one, me and her, then start go back to grandfather. So her dad, otherwise John's grandfather was John.
Not John in
Of course, in Hungarian is
Janos.
Janos.
But
Janos.
that's John in English.
Janos. And now Janos, that's Johnny really Hungarian.
But
And
not
now
officially turn some paper
Tam
back to
in
Janos.
Janos.
Not
not
the
official.
citizenship paper.
Not official. That's called everybody in
So we
John,
was teasing
everything.
him. He could become the president of the United States by law because he was born here.
Right.
We are just naturalized. After 5 years and 9 days, we became U.S. citizen first among the all Hungarian community. I was
Wow.
the first one.
You were the first one.
First
Okay.
one naturalized citizen.
Yeah, and nothing go through. In
Nothing?
My suffering really does get that in social security member, does everything in
You know,
asking.
when you became a U.S. citizen and you come from the eastern part of the world, they have some political question, why you came or everything. But since I have so brilliant political background, anti-communist and American favored, they absolutely adopt me, not even ask anything. They ask me, how about the German, what was the German and Russian occupation differences in Hungary? Because Hitler ran us over in 1942, the Russian ran us over in 1945. So we was living under German and Russian occupation and asked me which of them was better, which of them was worse. My examiner officer asked me, and that time I spoke fluently English, Bill of Rights, everything came like this, not even ask me any question. And then I said, well, sir, for me, the German occupation was more bearable than the Russian. Then he turned the whole conversation into the joke, and he said, well, how you can tell me the differences? I said, when a German officer or soldier rape a Hungarian, first ask her and then give her some hosiery and chocolate. The Russian soldier just said, let's go, because if you not allow me to rape you, boom, then I kill you.
Yeah.
So that's the explanation. He said, thank you, that's enough.
That's
sign,
very
character.
sign my paper right away.
That's Russia. Oh,
so
I'm
did-
suffering almost 10 years.
Oh.
That's everything. My parents lost everything, and my husband get a political chair. 2 years.
2 years.
2 years, and my oldest son just 1.5 year, in other just only 3 months old, Maria. Oh, I not found that job. Oh, I not remember. That's only very hard for me.
Yeah.
That's only my husband.
Under the Russian occupation,
Uh-huh.
when Stalin was running the Russian government,
Mhm.
it was so unbearable. The American people don't have any idea or realization what means the life. Because the American people take the freedom for
You
granted.
not know
For
that.
granted. But we had to suffer, even try to exercise a little freedom, but the result was the jail.
Mhm.
Now the whole judicial system over there in Eastern Europe, that time, no trial or anything like this, or a defense lawyer or something
Yeah.
like that.
No.
They don't like your face, boom, you go. Maybe Siberia, if you're lucky, then some jail inside of the country. No running water, no toilet in the jail cell,
You not
no
believe.
window in the jail cell.
You
All
you
of the
not
elements
believe.
to, you know, I do believe you. I just
That's
think
really suffering.
And
It
they
is.
let you go out to take your necessity twice a day, twice.
that
And
must,
if you ask third time,
That's
from your
really
jail cell to the restroom, they beat and kick you until you get there. To appreciation that they bother them extra time to open the jail cell door. So here in United States, come
That's
on,
only
they have
that
telephone,
only-
they play basketball, they have
Mother, oh,
that's an amusement park here, what they have here. It's not a
yeah,
punishment.
not
But Thornton, what was available for you? I mean, how did you get about? You had a car, and there was a store. There was a Safeway here. Am I correct? There was a store.
Müller.
Mueller's
Müller.
Market. Okay.
Müller
And they have a
store.
very, very lovely hardware store. That's where we get the radio.
Right. Right. The
Hardware
radio.
store,
Yes. Yes.
That's only get the
Borussia.
figures.
Borussia was her name.
Claire.
That's
Claire
Borisov.
Boris.
Right.
Yes,
Who gave us the radio?
that's Borisov.
Borussia.
Boris.
She must be over 70 now.
Right. She's still alive,
And
and right. She was interviewed on videotape, and they're going to have a Thornton News edition featuring that interview. I think next month. I mean, I'll have to check with Dan on that, but I know she's been interviewed. I have that tape, and I'm going to be looking
She
at
gave
it.
us the radio.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
only Wilcox. I really sorry that's Wilcox moved. That's Wilcox in
Uh-huh. Was
really
that-
nice.
Was that Pat?
Carl
Mr.
Wilcox.
Carl Wilcox.
Wilcox.
Carl
He was
Wilcox.
one
He
of the chairmanship
Insurance
board of the
agent.
Kovanis Club. He was not president, but he was on the board.
Born, yeah.
And I don't know, by his own good feeling or good thinking, or he get the influence from the management or the president of the Kovanis Club. He spent a lots of time with us.
Yes.
He came day,
And
day,
wife in Russia.
Russia.
That's really, really nice lady. Yeah.
Mrs.
and-
Wilcox, they came daily to my house to 2160 East 94th Avenue, and I asked what we need.
Yes. Now, health first, I'm not really good for Larry Cruz too.
And Larry Cruz
Cruz
also,
and
because they was very easy to communicate because
Yeah.
they talk
talk
French.
in French.
Right. And they were your neighbors? They lived near you, or they just stopped
Well,
by?
they live in
Not really.
Ruina Street. Ruina.
In upstairs.
Okay.
Upstairs. And Tom Corillo, same
Tom
thing.
Goggins.
Tom
And Tom
Corillo.
Corillo, the second president of the Kovanis Club, Mr. Tom Corillo,
Uh-huh.
he was very good friend of ours.
Right.
The
Yes,
first
that.
guy we hardly know because we arrived to Thornton and we didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
And I couldn't talk with anybody because until they don't discover this Mrs. Layton, who was so kind and interpret for us
Yeah.
many
Mrs.
things.
Clayton still alive?
I don't know. Tom Carrillo became one of our mayors. He eventually became a mayor in Thornton.
Yeah, but he died already.
He is, yes.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He was very good friend of ours, Mr. Tom Curry.
That's only get that in handicap. One girl, last child only get that in.
Oh, that's arm.
No arm, leg.
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 This was Tom Carrillo's daughter, or?
Yeah, doctor, yeah.
Mhm.
Only get that in body, in no regular leg.
Mhm.
Yeah, the Tom. And all lorry crew children, that's adults move, that's only die in Mrs. Lorry Cruz only 5 years, 6 years ago. That's only, and first die in Larry. That's only. I like it, Thornton. I really sorry my husband, special like it. That's not like it. Move here. That's only, I like it move here. I not drive every day only around the regions. And
Otherwise, we
home
love
country.
the city, we love the neighbors,
Yes,
we make several friends,
yes.
and we went through very interesting and joking experience. I never forget in our life, just for a joking story, the first Halloween. Now, in Europe,
Not.
the Halloween is unknown. No such thing like this one. And came the very last day of October, and I noticed that little kids come, all kind of a masquerade and painting face, and they knock on the door and they said something quickly. I didn't know what they said. I know now trick or treat now, naturally now I know. I didn't know, and they make all kind of a sour face that they don't get nothing from me. Then after they cross the street neighbor, we find out what's this all Halloween about it, and we supposed to give something in return that they knocking on the door. So next year was no problem, tons of candy. We equipped ourselves and give it to the trick-or-treater at the door. So we went to many interesting experience through the American life, what was completely different from the European customs.
That's all different. All different.
We
All
learned
different.
that, for instance, you can make very close and good friend with the people, but don't try to be too friendly. If the neighbor just say, hi, how are you? Then you say hi, and that's finished. Now in Europe, in the whole street, like relatives, they bunch together, they go together, they interfere each other private life, interfere, and that's commonly accepted in Europe. Here, some kind of a cold duck was partially good because nobody bother you. If you not wanted to people come to your house, you just say hi, hello, and that's it.
Yeah.
Then we learn the other thing, the other custom, see you. That word see you doesn't mean that he have to come to see you. That's a form of greeting, hello or see you. So many interesting things we learn in the very first experience.
Yes.
The biggest and more cheerful experience was the unlimited freedom. Unlimited. First, when I saw the first police officer in Chicago, because our train from New York, New Jersey to Denver came by train. That was a 2 days journey.
Yeah.
And the train stopped in Chicago. We had to change the train. And then one of the Hungarian former settlers took us to the city in Chicago, and I saw the first American police officer on the street, and I start shaking like this one. And then the former settler Hungarian said, Laszlo, are you crazy, or you are have some kind of a sickness or something? I said, no, it's a police officer. I said, my God, the American police officer don't bother you, they don't beat you, they can even come through your house without any warrant or knocking on your door. And then I eventually get used to the system that the officer here not to take you away from your home and confine you, but here to make you obey the law and help the other people. But takes years and years until I adapt this experience.
There's really freedom
The
here.
freedom?
Freedom.
Unlimited freedom,
Unlimited.
sometimes too much.
Too
Yeah.
much freedom.
Too much.
Yeah.
Sometimes too much.
Yeah.
What, if there was something that you could say that you liked the most about Thornton when you lived there, what
Most?
would be?
Most.
Well, first of all, I like because that was a very small family community, and then very 1 year after we settled in 2160 East 94th Avenue, they opened a swimming pool in Thornton, the Aqua Kretz swimming pool, and my daughter,
And
3
Maria.
years on the row, was champion in that swimming pool, junior champion in freestyle and backstroke.
Yeah.
And she
many,
had more
many
than
trophies.
50 ribbons
Wow.
and trophies.
Oh,
So
my
the like,
husband really
I was every day
sportsman.
over there in the city of Thornton swimming pool, and I participate
Yeah.
like a spectator
Yeah.
all the swimming event over there. Then few years later they built right in the Carroll Court corner this
What?
Highlander building.
Highland.
Highlander building.
Yes. Highlander.
They call Highlander building that time.
That's not now. Now, but
Now
Right.
City Park. They right by the swimming pool.
yeah, big
Yeah, the
city
community park.
Yeah,
Community
community
park.
park.
Community
Yeah.
park, yeah.
That's really, really nice.
This between the community park and our home present, I mean rented house, is a church and built in the hillside. And that time in the hillside, the kids was, how they go, sledding.
Sled. In,
So my kids enjoyed the hill.
in
They was
snow
sledding
time.
over there, yes.
Yeah, in winter time.
Winter time, naturally, not in
Yeah.
summer time, yeah.
I just go come in
So we
here.
was like the city and loved the city, and we had many, many friends.
Yes,
And
now
we keep in touch
nobody.
with lots of friends afterwards, but eventually most of them died out.
And move out.
Most. Moved or
Move
died.
out and die. Yeah, that's only. And now I almost 67, now 95, almost 28 years I move out.
Other experience was here in United States, that's not just concerning Thornton, but the overall experience, how much the American economy is ahead of the European. For instance, we just heard something about the computer system.
Oh, that's
was-
now just start.
That
now.
was established already here in United States. And the television, we was almost astonished when we see the first television,
Yes.
black and white naturally, and later the color TV. Then I invite me for one nice man together as a small party in Thornton, and I was some kind of embarrassed that they was making, they almost forced me with question to talk anything. And I was talk, and boy, I don't know how I talk very hardly. And then half hour later, I heard my own voice on the tape. And I never heard such a thing that they can recording your own voice. Something new for me.
Now, waiting, who is that guy who sell for house for me?
Doug Shucky.
Yeah, Doug Shucky, you never heard?
He had a realty company. Yes, there is
Yeah,
reference.
real estate
Right.
company. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That's a
Doug Shucky, he was bought the house for us at the Tony for a Carroll Court.
yes,
Mhm.
Doug Shucky.
Doug.
Now don't put this in the recording, but I said
Penzer
Russian Way and Eppinger Boulevard.
and Carol.
Right.
Now the Carol Court
That's
was
going
a very
City
long street, one of the most important street, but now it start losing the importance now. There are so many big streets,
Yeah,
No.
many.
like Post Boulevard over there.
Yeah.
Post Boulevard.
Because that is really important.
And then the first elementary school was over there, the Bertha Hyde Elementary School.
Right. And Mayor Carpenter, our current mayor, used to teach there.
Oh, Mr. Carpenter.
Mrs. Carpenter, her husband was once mayor, and now she's mayor, and she's running again. Mhm.
Probably she was teaching my kids too.
Very
In
possible.
Bertha Hyde.
Yeah, that's only my kids go only 1 year.
1 or 2 years in the public
Yeah,
school, but
public
they
school.
went
That's after going Welby.
very they went.
Welby. And many Catholic, not have a Catholic school in Thornton that time.
The other experience, Bonto.
Okay.
Acidity.